Hi, my name is Liz, and my friends dared me to put this video on YouTube. They always tell me that I have these strong political thoughts and feelings, and they're tired of hearing them themselves. So they said, go ahead and tell people what you think. So I decided, all right, I'll take them up on their dare, and I will. I'm an American citizen. I'm not a rich American. I've spent most of my life working with the poor or the disabled or the elderly populations. I have a solid education, and I've lived in 5 countries around the world. But I've always believed in the fundamental principles of America. I understand its heart and its integrity and the struggles of a government this powerful to deal with all of the global situations and crises that it faces. I'm really on YouTube today because, like most Americans and our government, our hearts go out to the refugee crisis that's happening along the border of Mexico. I'm a Christian. I'm a woman of faith, and I'm also a constitutional woman who believes in the fundamental principles of our government and the United States of America. And my heart and my prayers go out to these families and to these children who are fleeing the persecution that they're suffering in their own countries. I mean, in my mind and heart, I think it must take a great deal of strength and a terrible situation for a parent to say, my child would be better off taking the risk of going on these miles and miles long journeys without any support or aid or security to reach a place where they might have an opportunity to live outside of sexual slavery, rape, or murder, or even worse, being forced to commit those crimes against others because of the society that they live in. I know that America loves these children, and I know that America wants to make the globe better across not only its own borders, but the global boundaries that we face. My friend said, hey, if you want to keep talking about this, why don't you tell somebody else? So here I am. You know, when I think about the country and I realize the fear and the difficulties that we face as citizens, thinking, how are we going to support these people economically? Where are we going to find room for them? And are they really safe? Is it safe to just let them in? Well, my first thought goes to what's happening in other countries around the globe. You know, I think about Italy, and I think about all of the Syrian refugees who have, come across through their borders and are seeking refuge there. And I realize that Lebanon has an increase of 1/4 of its population. 1/4 of its population now, the equivalent to that, what it was prior to the Syrian refugee crisis, has now taken refuge in Lebanon. And this is a globe. And in this globe, there are real social, political, economic, environmental issues that we're all facing. And we have to face them together. My feeling is that America is really the foundation of dealing with global crises and providing refuge and political asylum to people. I mean, that's really where we came from. You know, we were indentured servants. We had religious persecution and poverty when our forefathers came over here from England and other nations. And nations followed. Irish immigrants, Polish immigrants, Italian American immigrants. That's our history. When I think about it, it kind of makes me laugh to realize that there's really not any citizen in this country, well, except for the Native American citizens, that is indigenous. Every single citizen is a product of some form of refuge from political or economic persecution in Europe or other countries, fleeing for a better life. That's why I love America. The fundamental principles of this government are based on that it doesn't really belong to anyone. It belongs to the founding fathers' concept of what this country was built for. I believe it's a great nation. And I believe that even though we're afraid that we do not have the economic capabilities that are required to support these young children, I think we can find a way. I'd love to see Congress come together and find some solutions that work, that they discuss and develop policies and programs with Mexico so that together we can handle these refugee crises as responsible nations, building a future for families both on this side of the border and that side of the border. I'm a Christian and an American, so I certainly wouldn't deny these children the opportunity for safety and shelter, or these single mothers, or these young families, while we find out what we can do to make this better. In my opinion, President Obama has offered a fiscal solution that would help these states cope with the immigrant crises that they're dealing with. this political asylum that these children are asking for. And I know that lots of Christian and religious and even secular organizations have stepped in and said they're willing to help. We've got to give these kids some shelter. This is what we're made of. This is America. If other nations of the globe can see fit to provide shelter and security to people that are fleeing from war and murder and rape and sexual slavery, who are we? Isn't it time that we stopped looking at our country as a nation that lacks resources, and we start looking at our country the way it truly is, a country that has every opportunity to develop, invest, and grow in ways that will give us all of the economic resources that we need, not only to provide for global crises around us and contribute to the globe and the other nations that we're accountable to, but also to support our own citizens, our schools, our infrastructure, our small businesses, our middle class, and our poor. There are ways to fix our problems. There are ways to generate the economy that we need. But we need a Congress and a government that's going to listen to its citizens, that's going to put its efforts together to make sure that we're handling things based on American values of freedom and liberty. We're Americans. We cherish children. We know who we are as a country. Well, my friend said, say what you think. And that's what I think. I don't think America's going to throw a lot of little kids who are suffering back into a pool of sharks. I think America's going to help them. I certainly hope so. I respect those soldiers and our military who've gone off to other nations in an attempt to secure and build freedom for those people. But who are we if we're not doing it here? There's enough to go around. There's enough to grow more. God bless those kids. They were our grandparents. My great-grandfather was an Irish-American immigrant. He came to the country with nothing. He became a mail carrier, one of the first Irish. He's in a work museum down here in Rhode Island, recorded as a contributing citizen. The Hispanic population of the United States of America is an immense contributor to what we're doing here. They support many of our small businesses. They work hard. They're good people. And these children deserve hope, a chance, at least safety from a nation that's founded on the principles of political asylum, liberty, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness. These numbers are nothing compared to the numbers that are flooding Italy and crossing the borders in Lebanon. We need to show the world who America is. We need to show Americans who we are. We need to show our government what we expect. I love this country. And I love those children. And I pray that we can work together to find a way to make this not only humane and dignified, but positive. God bless those little children. And God bless America. There, guys, I did it. I told them what I really thought.